Okay, today is my day for talking about pomologists. These are people who create new apple varieties. And there's lots of ways to create a new apple variety. The big way is you take pollen from one variety, say take pollen from Macintosh. And then you put that pollen from that Macintosh on the blossom of a Woodchester Parmain. And then you label that blossom. Actually, what you probably would do is you would take the whole clump of blossoms, because apple blossoms are in a clump. And you would pollinate perhaps all of those. And you would see how that apple comes out. If you like it, you would continue that process. You would continue that process until the variety sticks to that branch. You would then graft that branch, and then you would make it a tree. And then you would have to do more trees. And you have to repeat this process multiple times before you can feel comfortable that the apple is, that you know what the apple is like, you know what the apple is able to make, and only then can you sell the apple variety for commercial purposes. So we're talking about a lengthy process. This process often takes years. So for a pomologist, they have to be very patient. You have to be very patient when they're creating a new apple variety. And I have enormous respect of them. And then we'll get into some of, we talk about some other apples, we'll get into some other ways that they can create apples. And we'll talk about wild seedlings in a while too. But today we're going to talk about the process where they're putting the pollen of one apple variety on the blossom of another apple variety. And we're going to talk about that in the context of the Tydeman's red. Okay, Tydeman's early red. And that is Tydaman apostrophe S. Tydeman, in fact, is Dr. Tydeman. And he created two commercial varieties. I had talked about Kid and how Kid developed the Gala and Kid's Orange Red and the Freiburg. Well, Tydeman created two apples as himself, two commercial varieties. He created the Tydeman's Early Red, which we have, comes in late August, early September, and he also created the Tydeman's Late Orange, which is right at the beginning of October. Another fabulous variety. Of course, that one, Late Orange, no surprise, Cox's Orange Pippin. This one, the Tydeman's Late Orange, Macintosh, very popular apple. I'm going to specify that, of course, this is a British variety. It is the least fussy British variety in our orchard. We planted it in the mid-1970s. We have really consistently had success with it. It's not been problematic. Most of the other English varieties are very fussy. We've had to plant and replant, plant them in new positions. Tydeman's Early Red I can strongly recommend for zone 6 and warmer. Okay, it is a great eating apple. It stays crispy. It stays crispy for a long time. It's sweet. It's effervescent. So it's apple juice sweet like the Macintosh, but it's effervescent. I have not tasted the Woodchester Parmain, which is its other parent. Have always wanted to, because this apple is just wonderful. It also is a wonderful apple to add into something. Now, if you cook it, A, it's sweet, and B, it stays in chunky. It's a nice chunky applesauce too that you don't need to add any sweetening for, so that's another plus for it. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about Dr. Tydeman. Dr. Tydeman, as I said, is a British pomologist, and he developed both the Tydeman's Early Red and the Tydeman's Late Orange. He worked out of the British East Mallory Research Station in 1929 in Maidstone, Kent, which is in the southeastern corner of England. Actually, he launched this particular variety in 1945. So I suppose it's no surprise that we didn't have it until the 1970s. But it is sold commercially throughout the world. It is successful. It is a multi-purpose apple. So I hope that gave you all the information that you would like on the Tydeman's Early Red. Thank you and enjoy.